Cisalpina is almost 50 years old by now. Lorenzo is looking to retire, aged well above 70, but it is very hard for him to hand over more power to his son Giorgio. He hopes that Giorgio will keep the original Cisalpina spirit alive, but just recently the Saetta was designed, Cisalpina's first steel monocoque car. Something very new, something very different, and Lorenzo is doubting that he can leave it all to his son without risking more change. Giorgio knows about that, and plans to prove to Lorenzo that he understands what a true Cisalpina must be like, by designing a gift to Lorenzo, the car for the 50th anniversary of the company. Lorenzo's farewell car, a homage to the most critical car Cisalpina has ever brought onto the road. Not the first car, the Rivetto, no. The car that was created out of pure desperation to save the company, the G2. It is 1987 and we are investing heavily. Our new supercar, the Nuvia, still is in engineering, and so is our new mass market model, the Saetta. Our first car with a steel monocoque. Not our very first car with a monocoque, as I said last time. The Nuvia already has a carbon fiber monocoque. I forgot about that. The third model range is the Boreale, a large, potentially too large GT car to bear the Cisalpina name. And the old models Freccia and Cuneo will still be replaced by these new ones. Yeah, the Saetta project was very expensive, with a medium car factory and an upgrade to the inline 4 engine factory. And what I didn't think about when I signed off that project was that we are actually building a V12 engine factory right now for the Nuvia. And we should probably save a little bit of money, because the Saetta uses all of the money that we currently have. And yeah, I don't want to run out of money by forgetting that we still build another factory. So first thing we do today is to reduce our spending a bit in R&D. And here I basically want to reduce all of the funding for areas which are very expensive. So everything above 100k to a level below 100k. That should already save a lot of money. And the other thing we need to do is also to reduce our marketing spending. So mostly in the prestige area, there's one click that makes a huge difference. And I want to just make sure that we spend a little less, and that will also check out the other areas. Alright, that should already help quite a bit. Oh, we have our first pre-orders coming in for the Nuvia. Very nice. So the company anniversary is in 1996 and we need to start the new project probably 5-6 years before that. So a little bit of time needs to pass until then. But before I start, let's review the safety and emissions regulations so that we make sure that we are not missing anything major. So here in this image we see the current status of emissions and safety regulations. We're currently in 1987. And basically where it's green, you see that we fulfill all of the necessary regulations. And where there are different colors like orange or red, we are failing certain standards. For example, let's take a look at the Freccia. The Freccia is failing because it only has a safety of 30. It is failing in Helvetia, the safety regulations. But that's not a problem, the Freccia is not being sold to Helvetia. Same for the Cuneo, was not sold to Helvetia. Then in 85, we designed the following car, the Nuvia, for the Cuneo. That's what we see here. And since then, since 1986, we are failing the emission standards in Fruinia with the Cuneo. But that's not a big problem because we don't sell so many. So it's just a few $1,000s. Then in 87, now we have just designed the Saetta, the successor for the Freccia. And it will continue until it is released. That's the black boxes here. And here the Saetta is being released. Here the Nuvia will be released in 1990. And that's when I want to start the anniversary. Because then when the Nuvia is done, our engineers have a fresh mind to start something new. Yeah, for the Boreale I already planned to also design the follow-up model in 1992. Something like that. And we see that we are mostly fine with our other cars for a long time. The main problem is in 1998 that we will get new emissions regulations in Fruinia. And there we need to improve, because that will affect all of our lineup. And that could be very expensive. But for now, I don't need to worry about it. So currently I don't need to make a facelift just because of any regulations. However, the Boreale could use a facelift at some point. Maybe I can squeeze in something very, very quick. But yeah, if you do a Boreale facelift, we should probably do it after the luxury CD is available. And that will take a little bit longer because we have just reduced our spending in interior. So let's move on. We need to downscale production in certain areas. So the Cuneo and the Boreale, especially the Boreale, we have so many cars in stock. Cinghiale can be reduced. Okay, let's move on a little bit. Currently saving a bit of money. 1987 is finished very soon. Let's check out our financial report. Financial report says we made a profit of 46 million. Very good. And we have now 2 trims that are failing the emission standards. So the Cuneo, as I said. So both the Spider and the Bellinetta are not making it, but it's just 8000k. That's not a problem. New car bodies are available. Okay. Already from the year 91. We are slowly reducing pre-orders in the Freccia. We are at full production right now. But slowly but surely we managed to do that. Luxury CD will be available soon. So our stock is still building for the Cinghiale. Even though we are only producing at 0.5 shifts. So I will just slightly adjust the price. Or slightly, 85k is a big reduction. But this should help to boost the sales from 18 currently to a bit more. Yeah, 24. And hopefully over time we are able to reduce our backlog. These are 10 months currently. So, I think now we should have the CD player available, yes. So maybe let's do a very quick, very cheap facelift of the Boreale. I don't even want to change a lot. So the engines will stay the same. I don't care about future emissions regulations. Also, I don't want to integrate ABS because that would take forever. But let's switch to luxury CD. That makes a big difference. Even complain about low comfort. It's slightly failing the OS 8, but it's not a big problem. We don't sell a lot of Cinghiales, so emissions are not a problem there. Yeah, the normal one is easily passing the emissions regulations, so that's really good. Safety also was still up there. Everything good. So just 19 months, 20 million, we can afford that. I can reduce funding a bit so that we spend less. Takes a little longer, 2 years. Alright. Just a minimum level of Cinghiales. And here we have a small 2 factory. We also reduce the target shifts here. Same prices as the old one. And that should be quite decent. No loan, 10 million. Very cheap facelift. And that's done as well. Alright, then let's move on. So our Group C car now gets an update. Yeah, we still have too many Cinghiales. I think I will stop the Cinghiale production because we still have plenty until the new one arrives. Just having an eye on my stock levels so that we don't spend too much money. But I think with the saving that we did, we should be fine. We have so much money now. So now V12 engine factory very, very soon. Let it fuel ban. We pay some taxes. The Futurismo. We have so many still of that one lying around. I think we can scrap them. they are not being sold anymore. Oops, and that is the cost for the V12 engine factory, all at once, I guess. And we have released our Group C car and the Nuvia. So the Group C car we will produce for 1 month so that we have a few, and then I will kill it. And it won't be sold anyway. So let's wait for 1 more month. There we go. 14 Group C cars. We had 15 Group C juniors. Pause them all. Then we can scrap them or send them to our racing team. And also empty the factories. Okay, let's do 1 more month so that this is all cleaned up. And still with the increased engineering cost now from the Saetta and the Boreale Facelift project, we still make a small profit. We are totally fine, although the factory for the Saetta will be built very, very soon, and that's a huge one. So Nuvia has excellent pre-orders, and we are barely able to keep up with production. It's not making a lot of money because it's just not many cars, but I think that's pretty good. Fetcher, okay. We have managed to do all of the pre-orders for the Targa by now, so we are now working on the pre-orders for the Berlinetta. Still selling 760 per month. And the Cuneo is almost done, so discontinued. I don't care about that one. Okay. 8 months of sales are still there for the Boreale, so I can also stop production here, and then we should be pretty good. So it's time to finally start the car project. And yeah, as it is an homage to the G2, the car that saved the company, let's aim for the track market. So really build a small track car with somewhat this open wheel character that the G2 had. And luckily I already have something in stock for that. I built a car a few years ago on a 2.3 meter wheelbase, and I just want to copy it over so that I don't have to build it again. So let's search for bodies that would work. And it of course needs to be up to date so that we can sell it, else it looks too old to the in-game buyers. And a body type would also be nice to have, a coupe of course. So that's the one that's necessary for the track market. And I want to have a rear-engined version, mid-engined version. But I think I need to choose this one for the engine bay size. So I planned this to be partially carbon fiber, but with a steel space frame, as the original Cisalpinas had. Partially carbon fiber to make it light, to show a way into the future as well. Because it's an anniversary car, it's a very lighthouse project. I think this makes sense. Longitudinal engine. And why not push rods? First time we do that. I need it because it looks better, because I know what I want to do. And then let's make this, this is all too large. So this is not the right body. Let's choose a different one, this one. And there everything fits except for the V12. That's fine. For the first one, I'll probably just choose an existing one. So 125 horsepower inline 4, because the G2 also was not very overpowered. Let's choose this, and maybe in the future we can give it V6 or something. But for the start, also because we don't have a lot of money right now. Remember, we are still building a medium car factory. I want to have a bit of a cautious project, but still it should have the Cisalpina spirit, of course. So maybe before we do all of the mechanicals of the car, let's do the fixtures so that you know what I'm talking about. So here in the advanced trim section, we can paste fixtures, and I will do that. So I have copied the fixtures from an old car with these buttons here, copy fixtures, copy paints, and so on. And now I can paste them in from a text file. So I start with advanced trim, then the fixtures, and then the paint, and then the magic happens. And there we are. Really nice. It's not 100% working yet because it's a different body than what I built it on, but we'll make it work. So this is an old concept I had, and which I entered also in the official Roadster Face of the Update challenge by the dev team, and it made 3rd place there because it was penalized for not being a Roadster because it's just a track toy. I'd say that's definitely a Roadster, but yeah. Yeah, you see a few things going on here that look weird. That's because the body is currently painted in glass. I need that for the export to BeamNG to work really nice. Let's make it transparent for now so that we don't get these effects. Then let's choose proper rims. Okay. And I already did a few modifications just to make it look a little bit more like 90s. The original was built to be like 2010s. Maybe we can also keep it for a little longer. And I think one could still adjust a few tiny things. For example, this section here is a little bit wide. I would like to bring that in a little bit. But the rest is working quite nicely. So, but first let's make it look properly. And therefore I need to engineer it and get proper wheels on it. So of course, rear-wheel drive, manual, helical limited slip diff. Radial tires, sports. I'd like to have semi-slicks, but they are not available yet. And something like this. Not 100% sure about that yet, but the tires need to be different sizes, as was the G2, if I remember correctly. Front's very small, rears probably 600, so 580s. Let's try 600. Yeah, 14 inch in the front, 16 in the rear. Vented discs, semi-clad sport, or for the track toy we use actually the race interior, and I think that's exactly what you can see here. Traction aids. Now it becomes interesting. Lorenzo would say none, because the driver should drive the car, not the car should drive the driver. Giorgio would say we have a really bad reputation of creating many widows in Fruinia, so maybe let's add some traction aids. But maybe for this time, at least for the track ready version, let's do nothing. Safety, I need to check what we will need to do to make it sellable. Standard springs for more spottiness. Sports preset. Try to make it not kill the driver. And then we are almost done. We just see that things are not lining up really nicely. And therefore we need to go here into the advanced trims again. And we can move all the fixtures up, for example, until we are happy. So the ride height has already been adjusted, and I will just move all the fixtures up until I'm happy. This could work. Maybe one more. Then what I need to do is adjust the wheelbase. And we have the sliders here. Front is fine. And the track width. So our suspension mounting points somehow don't match at all. So we need to reduce the track width. Yeah, like this it's alright. Okay, so now the basics are working, and now I need to bring the wheels out again with the rim offsets so that they actually look alright. There's something funky going on here with the exhaust. Need to fix that. Maybe I'll move the engine just to see if it then... Yeah, now it has connected on the other side. And we have the airbox in there as well. Just need to move the engine a little bit. And make the airbox invisible, because I have an airbox on top there. Hide the airbox. And we're good. And also for the racing version, just one seat. Yeah, driver's seat would be nice. We still have the air intake there, so let's move the engine a little more. Right. Yeah, what I didn't check yet is, of course, the color. The color is not Cisalpina, but I would need to go through each and every single thing. So let me quickly do that. Yeah, for those who want to know how this car was built, this is each and every single fixture you see here, even the little screws there, they're all individually placed 3D fixtures. So don't ask me how much work this one was. It has almost 200 fixtures, so a little bit of work went into that. But yeah, I love it. Oh, what's going on here now? That's the gearbox. I can do it like this, and then the rest needs to be done by shifting the bumper. Yeah, and I need to bring this one in because of the steering angle. It's not perfect. And I think that's it. I might want to paint the rims, though. What do we think? Let's leave it black for this one. Exhaust. Still need to fix that. I can do this. I think this is quite good. Yep, I think I'm happy with that. Just a little smaller. So let's tune the car and see if it can actually be a track car. Safety will be a problem again. Especially if we take a look at safety regulations. Oh well, no, it's right. It's just not for Helvetia or Gersmia. But for Fruina, this could sell with 35 safety until 2010. So it's definitely good enough. 820 kilo, a little bit heavyweight, but I didn't want to make it carbon fiber monocoque because it just doesn't fit if it looks like this. But yeah, let's give it proper brakes first. It certainly doesn't need a lot of brakes because it's so lightweight. Track low prestige. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem because there's not much we can do. Top speed 235 is more than enough for something like this. 7 seconds 0 to 100. 6.9. That's pretty good and very nice, of course. I don't have a wing in the front yet. I want to place something somewhere. Right. So still low prestige, low comfort. Oh no, with one seat I even get less comfort because it's lighter now, much lighter. And the springs are too hefty again. The problem really is the prestige, and that's pretty difficult to do without entertainment in there. So I need to give it a throwaway cassette player. So here I get 94 at least. And I think I need to do that. Standard cassette player just to make it sellable. Bit of quality here and there now for better overall performance. I want to make it a little bit desirable at least. Still complaining about low comfort. Oh, ABS would actually boost it a little bit as well. Quite a bit. Traction control and ABS. So, okay, let's change our lore. We need to sell this. There's no way around this. Traction control and ABS are there because this is a Lighthouse project. It should have the technology that Cisalpina already has. But of course, you can deactivate those if you go to the track. There are many switches in there, and you can deactivate traction control and ABS. Weight distribution to the front, which would help as well. And making it lighter. This should probably, for this car, we should crank this up quite a bit, even though material costs will be killing us. Safety is even above 40, although that doesn't make big difference. Because 40 never is, or for Fruina it is the limit at some point. 45 is the limit for Helvetia and stuff. The carbon fiber panels make it quite expensive on the materials side, and they don't have a lot of budget. We'll see if that works. Okay, so I'll do a quick check if everything exports nicely. Alright, there we are. I did a few adjustments, so completely reworked the dash, and gorges now show up in BeamNG, and fixed a few texturing issues. For example, here textures of this mesh didn't really export well. So all in all, it's quite a bit better, I think. Now for the important decisions, the name. As I am very creative, I will just call this the Cinquanta. Yep, that's it. Sounds pretty good, but if you know what it means, it's probably pretty dull. It just means 50. Which car company would name a model just 50? Nobody, right? So let's finish this off. So this is our race trim. I didn't want 2 seats, just one. Maybe on the other side. Yeah, so that's the race trim with 1 seat. I also made the suspension a little bit stiffer. Currently I'm running no toe. Car drove well in the first try, so I will just leave it at that. We are scoring decently enough. It will be a bit worse when it releases, but I think it's good enough. So that's the race trim, and then we will make 1 2-seater trim. The race obviously is called Competizione, and the other one is the Stradale. Alright, and this one should have 2 seats. Sports, let's mirror this. And I won't recolor everything here. So many pieces, not necessary. Let's say it's only available in red. Keep it also on the standard cassette, I think that's good. I will not change anything. Also, I want this to be a really cheap project, so it's probably better if we do a lot of standard parts. So for the engineering, we said 1996 is the 50-year anniversary. We are 3 months in, so it's 69 months. Okay, so also this is still way too expensive. And all of the work is basically coming from chassis. Yeah, that's it. Material costs are super high, obviously. So, and this goes into the racing shed. Oh no, it can actually... Let's put it into the small factory, because the Freccia will be discontinued, so it's much better to do that. And the Zeta will not automatically replace the Freccia, because it's in a different factory. So, let's go there. Should we downgrade a little bit, maybe? Small 2. Both of the trims in there. Efficiency is pretty bad because of all the flags. So this will not make us a lot of money, but it's a prestige project. Let's see if we can do 1.5 shifts. Standard payment. And we are at a loss. Mostly because of car material cost and car tooling cost. We can make the tooling cheaper. And we can see how the profit goes up. So this is a very manual project. That's why it benefits from cheaper tooling. less automation. But of course, the quality, also the build quality, will suffer quite a bit. 36 million here. At least the engine is already going, so we don't need to spend anything there. Yeah, but the price is pretty bad. But also we see that the factory really is big enough. So let's crank it up to 2 shifts. Then it will be even a bit more efficient. And I like that. Profits should be better. And then we can increase our prices until the lines match up. Not too much, because the, yeah, we see it here. The Stradale, the 2-seater, is much more relevant. 28k here. Then we have still a pretty nice margin. And this should help. Yeah, this drops it quite a bit. Maybe too much. Yeah, it's probably too much. Let's make it a bit cheaper. 24k, 25k. Let's try that. It's probably still a bit on the expensive side. But it's also more expensive than the Saeta, and that's very important because I don't want to cannibalize the Saeta too much. So we have a total cost of 80 million for this project over 69 months, so a little bit more than 1 million per month. I probably want some loan coverage, I just don't want to bin it right now. Yeah, let's pay 1 million back per month, and I think then it's right. Let's sign it off, and there we go. We have our anniversary car lined up. So I think at this point it's time to end the progression for this time. Next time we will at least do until the release of Saeta and hope that we still live. But for now, let's enjoy life while we are alive and head to the track and see what it can do. So here we are, back to the Italy map in BeamNG. The car exported nicely. I brought up Competizione with 1 seat only. Probably not its natural habitat, it's the track, but I still want to see how it goes here. So let's head right in. And yeah, okay, quite nice. And look what I also did. I have a working RPM gauge and a speedometer as well. Also the front fenders move a little bit. They are not perfectly animated, but better than nothing. And first, most of all, they are shaking like crazy. Nice to drive something that's not completely overpowered. 130 already here. And it works pretty well, to be honest. Yeah, very, very nice. Hairpin coming up. Let's see what we can do here. If we smash the throttle. Lots of understeer. Probably have to try a little bit more to get it to... there was the oversteer that I was hoping for. Now, as we have a little bit of space, let's see if we can do some burnouts. Oh. That was a little bit too much grip. Or too less power, I don't know. But it's just super grippy. So it should be nice for anybody to have a little bit of fun with on the track. Oh, there's a nice parking lot. Let's go there. Let's see. Yeah, not much happening. With a bit more space it would be possible. Ouch. Yeah, it's possible if you have the space to do donuts. But yeah, let's head to the track and let's see if it can actually beat the Saeta with the same engine on the track. Yeah, way too much grip. Or too long first gear, I don't know. Bit of understeer, but it's manageable. And yeah, very, very easy to handle. It's crazy how simple this car is to drive, now that it gets a little bit of space to move. Also, I paid attention that I set up my brakes nicely this time. Bit of a power slide out there. Really nice and simple. I don't know if it's quick, but it should be fairly much fun on a track even for the inexperienced driver. And everybody should be a part of the Cisalpina family. So perfect entry-level track car. And you're definitely, the 213 that I'm going right now will feel a lot faster because you're so exposed to the elements. The wind right into your face and all of the bugs as well. I have to be careful because the hitbox of this car is a little bit bigger than it looks, because we are on a bit of a larger car body, and it will still use the hitbox of the original body and not of the 3D fixtures that I used. Super easy to drive. Probably not the quickest lap, but yeah, 2 or 3 seconds are always possible. Yep, but at least I spun out once by downshifting without blipping, so we can give it another go. Alright, we can probably carry a bit more speed, but it always bogs down in first gear, so a little bit skinnier rear tires would probably be helpful. There we get a bit of oversteer as we go over the bump. Yeah, once you lift off, the car really turns in, so very, very controllable. Downshift into first to get it sliding. Forgot to upshift in time, but we are still going. Super easy. Even the fuel gauge should work, but I haven't driven the car so much that I could see the tank emptying. But in theory it should work. Right, Bavarian band coming up. A little bit quick. But as we are not too fast, it's easy to still catch it. Missed both apexes, very good driving. Yeah, if we do a facelift, we will give it a little bit more power. I also want to do B6 at some point. But I think we might be a little bit quicker even than the Saita, and that's good. It should be. Very nice. So that's it. We have worked on our 50-year anniversary model. I hope you like it. I certainly do. And still, we are in year 43, I think. So, or 44. So still a little bit to go. But we will be there in 1, 2, 3 episodes, probably in 2. And then we are already on the home stretch as we approach the new millennium. Looking forward to continue the journey together with you. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.